right, I'm gonna kick it off with the getting it live, getting it together.
Arenas, doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe, shopping sprees in Soho. You had to see it. Strippers shaking ass and
You
watching
know it,
the
man.
blow. Ace trumpets and rose mode. Yellow
You know?
diamonds look like PP.
How can we start anything without one of the greatest rap groups welcome us back, you know?
Oh, I can't hear the music.
Oh, you can't?
No.
It's easy. How could you and me
Alright.
be? Ever seen his peers? Can't compare. You just CC. Don't you know these clears in my ears? Only VVs play musical chairs.
We got a special guest coming in the podcast right now.
No doubt. All right, y'all. So welcome to A Tribe Called Swish. This is B-Boy and Josh. We're starting it off with a pregame show for the NBA Finals. You know, so big game, big series, a series that none of us probably expected to kick it off. To have it for this NBA Finals, but here we are. We have my friend Kev. He's going to join in a few minutes. So we're going to do our own version of a 3-man weave. But Josh, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. So I hope the Thunder sweeps the Pacers. I can't stand them.
So you've been calling for 2 sweeps and nothing stand out yet.
Listen, I was super hopeful for the Knicks the last round. Okay, like I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. Oh my god, stupid yellow jerseys.
I know. So we'll get to the Knicks disappointment first, but let's look at this matchup, man. We got the Pacers at the Thunder. Tyrese Halliburton has turned himself into a star. There's talk, is he a superstar or not? And we can get to that later. I like what I'm seeing from this Pacers team. In one of our first podcasts, I was like, when it was that Pacers Cleveland series, I could care less about this team. And that series was pretty much uneventful. I mean, they ran away with it and it wasn't an exciting series. Yeah. But I watched them more against the Knicks. And I like what I've seen. I mean, look, I got to give credit to Miles Turner. Miles Turner was supposed to be a Lakers every year for the last 5 years. He was supposed to get paid. He was the Lakers' missing piece. And somehow he stuck it out. And he's a free agent this year and he's about to get paid. So shout out to Miles Turner for sticking it out. But this team, I mean, they're from Indiana, but they're kind of exciting. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing the same thing. I think Halliburton has been, I don't know if he's a superstar, but I would say he's just an all-star. But he's a game changer for sure, though. He also should have won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP over Pascal Siakam. That was super surprising.
I was surprised at that too because Siakam had some bad games. He had the big games, but they even said it in that clinching game was that this is a game he's gonna have a big game. Like he would score, I think, 31 game and 9 the next game, shooting 30. Yeah. So it was. So I was shocked he didn't get in. Obviously, I'm not sure if you saw the clip, but Halliburton was a surprise too because he was ready to step up forward. Yeah. So everybody was shocked.
Yeah. I think both of the teams this is their first time being in the finals with this particular group for their team. So I mean, I'm excited for it. I like the matchup. I think the Pacers, they're gonna keep playing their own ball. I think they're gonna have I like to call them Russell Westbrook type games where it's a whole lot of excitement and then it's like, what are you doing? And then it's a lot of but in the end it's like, dang, that was pretty crazy. They kind of snuck up on us. They kind of snuck up on us this year. I wasn't expecting this.
And they did. Look, before the playoffs, I could name Halliburton, Siakam, and Miles Turner. That was Neesmith, Nembhard. I didn't even know TJ McConnell was on that team.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So because I didn't watch them play. It was just they were middle of the pack in the regular season. Okay. Halliburton still kind of annoys me. So I was not using League Pass to watch a lot of Pacers games. I always I watched them a little bit down the stretch, but I wasn't watching a lot of Pacers games. Yeah. And so which is why I was ambivalent about that Cleveland Indy series. I'm just I I was hoping Cleveland would put them out in 5 games, and Cleveland did what Cleveland does when LeBron's not there, and they make an early exit. So cool. But I mean, Rick Carlisle, credit has to go to him because
Yeah.
he's such a great coach. I mean,
Yeah.
he did it with Dallas. He's doing it with Indy. This team and their front office, they made the right moves. They got Halliburton. The fact that this is the Paul George finals and Paul George is pretty much responsible for these teams being here is crazy. But yeah, the front office made the right moves, even though it didn't seem like at the time. And this is how I think this is the new NBA. This is how you create a winning team.
Yeah. No, that's facts. I don't agree with the Paul George, finals or anything like that. I would say Paul George probably. I mean, Paul George had a impact on both teams, but I would say he had a bigger impact for the Pacers. Like
Hmm.
I think he was also his best self post injury in the Thunder as well. Uh,
True.
so like I think I don't think it's fair to say Paul George. I would have said it's like a Paul George versus Russell Westbrook type of finals because Westbrook has helped bring the attention and then increase the market for Thunder and then do a lot of things for the Thunder and Paul George did a whole lot for the Pacers. I
Well,
mean,
so here's why. So maybe you haven't seen this. So the Paul George trades, they are directly responsible for these two teams. So
mhm,
the Paul George trade allowed Indy to get they were able to draft. Yeah, they were able to trade Sabonis,
yep,
and that trade brought them Halliburton.
yeah,
OKC, the OKC trade when they made the trade to get Paul George to send Paul George to the Clippers, that trade brought them Shea, and that one of those picks was Jalen Williams.
yep.
So Paul George, I mean, this is the Paul George finals. I mean, via transaction, and the fact that he's probably never going to appear in the finals makes this even more ironic. But but well, I want to switch to Thunder for a second because the Thunder is just this special team. What we're seeing, I think, what I'm seeing, like I don't want to compare them to the Harden, Russ, and KD Thunder team because I don't think that's fair right now because we have three on that team. We had three bona fide Hall of Famers,
Yeah.
and right now on this team, we probably for sure have one with Shea. So I don't think it's fair. Now the discussion will flip if they win a chip. And then those conversations are going to get a little bit uncomfortable because you don't want to say this team is better than them, but the trophy says different.
I think I don't think if this current team played against Harden, KD, and Westbrook team, I think this team is beating them by also be not because of the offensive firepower that this 24-25 Thunder team provides. It's just a defensive tenacity that they bring though. And I think with the what was that team? What year was that team that with Thunder, Harden, and Westbrook? That was 2008 to 2014, 15.
I feel like 2012. I don't. Let me make sure.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of offensive firepower, but I think this team they got a well balanced. Like they got
Yeah,
everything
2012.
that you. Yeah, 2012. So like they were like this team has like a very well balanced system, but it's also super annoying. Like they would frustrate KD, they would frustrate Westbrook. I think Harden would probably foul bait a lot, but it wouldn't be as successful as it would be right now though. So I would take this team over that 2012 Thunder team, honestly, to be fair, because they got length, they got tenacity, they can double team, like they have the correct players to guard like every single superstar on that team. And Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet could guard Serge Ibaka too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest difference between that team and this team is a full team and they have way better coaching.
Yeah.
The Thunder team, they were they were top heavy. Like what I think like Nick Collison was playing center,
Yeah.
so they were very top heavy. But and they were also very young.
Yeah.
Like this Thunder team, a lot of them are either entering their prime or already in their prime. And so it's kind of like Caruso, he's probably on the tail end of it right now.
Of
But
his prime, I think he probably is just like in the middle of it.
Caruso, you think he's in his prime?
I don't think he's in his prime yet. Like
Okay.
I think he's like probably next year. I think you start to see like him entering his prime.
Okay. All right, that's cool. It's one of these things where I guess, but the thing is, I feel was like this is the best we're going to see of Caruso right now. Like what we're seeing is this is kind of it, and that's only because you know that's his role. He's a great role player. He's not going to be a star. He's not going to be number 2 or number 3. He's
Yeah.
a good role player, and so that's why I say he's kind of in his prime because this is kind of as good as it's going to get for him, which is not this. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, this team needs Caruso. Without
Yeah.
Caruso, they don't beat Denver. So it's not a knock on him. It's just the fact that he's kind of maxed out a little bit, and that's perfectly fine.
I just the thing is like I don't think he's. I just disagree with the fact that he's maxed out. Like
Okay.
I don't. I think he's comfortable with the role. Like you're right, he's a role player. I think he's
Yeah.
comfortable with it, but he's going to like expand on his role. Honestly, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to see him as a point guard or have some crazy handles, but I think he's going to enter like a point where he can expand on his defense and his shooting consistency too. So I think honestly, I think we'll probably see him entering his prime next year. He's not gonna. I don't. I think we have to also like change the narrative as like a sports universe of like what your prime looks like because prime doesn't always mean you're putting up crazy numbers like all the
True.
time. It's just like what you're doing defensively that heavily impacts the team, and also like your status. That's what I'm looking for too. The status of where you're at too. So I mean I don't think I don't think he's done. I don't think he's like capped out. I think he probably will expand his game a little bit more over the next couple of years because he's still young too. I think he's like 26, 27.
Something like that, yeah. So so I want to move on to the players we're watching in the
Yeah.
final. So the player I'm most interested in is really Chet. I think
Mm.
I think it's easy to look at some other players, but this is Chet's biggest game of his career. Like, I would even go as far as collegiate too, because I don't think that Gonzaga team went very far in the tournament when he was there.
No, I think
So,
that went Sweet 16 and that's it.
okay, so this is his biggest moment,
Mm.
and I think, and he's kind of a matchup nightmare because he's as Bomani Jones said, he's tall man but not big man, and
Yeah.
so and how that matchup goes, I see him a lot on definitely Siakam and Miles Turner probably going back and forth, but they're going to need him to score, and
Yeah.
his shot has been inconsistent.
Hmm.
And that's my biggest concern with Chet is that his shot's been inconsistent. He's been playing good defense, rebounding, all those other things, but I need for him to consistently hit that J drive, get to the foul line, do the big things. But he's the player that I'm watching. I think if Chet creates the matchup nightmare that I think he can, the Pacers are in trouble.
Yeah. The player. So are we going by team by team?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the Thunder, the player I'm looking out for is Isaiah Hartenstein.
Okay.
I think he's their secret sauce. Honestly, I think he'll have a bigger impact than Chet might. Honestly, and mainly because he's got a consistent floater, but also he's also a big man too that is tougher and has a bit more body shape to him as well. And he's very versatile with his defense. I'm not going to see him on the perimeter, but I'm going to see him. I would like to see him get some blocks tonight. And I know he's going to have a tough assignment with Miles Turner and then they probably might put him on what's his face? You just said his name, Pascal Siakam too.
Yeah, that
So
floor is money. That little
yeah,
floor is so money.
dude, it's so crazy. I don't think If anything, if three ain't working, he got that midi, which is
Yeah, yeah.
got a stupid step back.
Yeah, I like Isaiah Hartenstein, and it's still not really a basketball thing, but it's still funny how like I thought he was completely like a white boy, and then come to find out he's not. It's still Isaiah Hartenstein has a flavor to him. Well, yeah. So going to the Pacers, I'm
Yeah,
going to go with Miles Turner, man.
huh?
Miles Miles Turner is
He's
look,
crazy.
he is such an X factor for them because I don't understand how he keeps getting open for 3 pointers. Now, he's shooting like roughly I think like 35%. So he's
Yeah,
not the best 3 point shooter in the world, but he's effective at it. And
yeah.
so it's weird how they just run this motion for him. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, yo, you got a 7 foot guy just randomly wide ass open for a 3 pointer. And everyone's like, all right. And look, he's gonna hit he's gonna hit two a game. He pretty much hits two 3 pointers a game.
Consistently. Yeah,
He might go 2 for 6, but he's gonna hit two a
two
game.
of them for sure.
Because he's gonna be so open, it's gonna be like a practice shot. So
Yeah,
I see him being a big thing. I need him to be a little bit more solid on the defensive end because he doesn't really play great defense. But luckily, Hardenstein isn't really a scoring threat like that. So
yeah.
he's gonna get lucky on that end. But that's what I expect. That's what I'm seeing as the Pacers X factor. What about you?
Aaron Neesmith and Nemhard are going to be their X factors.
Right.
I think without those two, they wouldn't have gotten this far. Honestly, they're great defensive players, and they score. Like when they score, it hurts. It's
Mm,
very demoralizing, and I think. 'Cause I think they both can average about, I think for this playoff so far, between like 12 or 15 points.
yeah.
And it's like loud 12, 15 points. And then they'll both get some steals. The only downside with Neesmith though is that he gets into foul trouble. And he can like be the reason for their turnovers. And I think the Knicks kind of exposed him a little bit because when he got into foul trouble, they kind of their defensive power and tenacity kind of waned away a little bit. But I think Neesmith and them are going to be there my players to watch. They're annoying because they can score, but
Yeah.
it's they're those are the two that I'm looking out for tonight, outside of the usual suspects.
The only thing I worry about with those two is that they are so aggressive,
Hmm.
and the Thunder, Jalen Williams, Shea, are really good ball handlers,
Hmm.
and that's not something they had to really worry about. Jalen Brunson was really the only really decent ball handler the Knicks had. Like
Yeah,
Josh Hart is good, but
yeah.
but I think that's that's my thing. And Mikal Bridges in the Knicks, he doesn't like contact, so that's my only. He doesn't like. There's a stat that he shot the least amount of free throws
Hmm.
in the league for any starter at a certain amount of minutes. Like he doesn't,
Oh wow.
he doesn't like contact. So I think that's my only thing with them is that if they get that aggressive, this team can make them pay. But I like those picks. So absolutely. And Neesmith, he's from South Carolina, so
Yeah.
got a little warm
Touchdown boys.
yeah, got a little soft spot for him. So all right. So speaking of the Pacers, right?
Yeah.
How can they win? What has to happen for them to win?
Halliburton is gonna have to start scoring consistently offensively. I think. Oh boy. I think they just got to play their own ball, honestly. I don't think they should change up anything. I think they just kind of keep doing what they're doing. If they switch up their game plan, especially their offensive game plan, I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Defensively, like you said earlier, Miles Turner's going to have to turn it up defensively a lot. And I would say everybody else is going to pretty much do their own thing. I would like Obi Toppin also to stop shooting the three ball so much because like bro, you're big, like you don't need to shoot the three every time,
Right.
and he just needs to go in the paint and just start dunking on players. Honestly, If they can get those two players to kind of do those particular things, then they're gonna win this series. That's my only thing. Halliburton, there's nothing for him to change, honestly.
Yeah, I think Halliburton's going to have to continue playing as well as he has. I don't want him to necessarily score more
Mhm.
because I worry about him being too obsessed with scoring because we've seen that. We've seen when he tries to score, when he actually tries it and not go with the flow to deep. When he pushes it, it doesn't work. He is definitely
Yeah,
a flow type player when it comes to score. He definitely has to be in the moment in the offense, and that's kind of how I see him score. For them to win, they have to improve their defense. And more than that, they're going to have to be able to not go on these scoring drugs that they sometimes have.
mm-hmm.
Because they can't afford it. The
Yeah,
Thunder's offense is too powerful, and the Thunder turns their defense into offense, so they can't. Like they really can't afford to have a lot of bad possessions.
yeah,
We're gonna Pascal Siakam has to be an every game player. Like they were lucky with the Knicks and even the Cavs to a certain extent. The Cavs were really hurt, but they were lucky with the Knicks because Jalen Brunson was the only person who can always get a shot. Like Cat is a player who can always get a shot, but Cat doesn't go for his shot. You know,
right.
so that's what I think. So they have to continue doing that. They have to play better defense, eliminate bad possessions, which is the obvious, but we're gonna have to see their role players. Like I agree with you, Neesmith, Nemhard, they're gonna have to do it. Obi Toppin, who I think will probably be top three most athletic player on the court in this series. He's gonna have to be aggressive. And I agree with you. He can't just sit out at the 3-point line. He's gonna have to be aggressive. And if he's aggressive
Yeah.
and trying to make contact and going to the paint, I think they can shake something.
Oh, for sure. I think the Pacers are probably. I think this matchup is going to be pretty well balanced too. These are probably one of the most consistent teams I think we've seen so far in this entire playoffs run.
All right. So besides just showing up, how can the Thunder win?
I think the Thunder have to take care of the ball.
Mhm.
And Shea probably needs to also not shoot too many crazy threes. He does a lot of off the dribble moves, which gets him to the line. But I think if he sticks with his mid range, and when he gets hot, he'll shoot from the three, and then he'll miss, and then we kind of see him slow down a little bit. But they have to take care of the ball. I don't think they need to do anything to change anything defensively. Caruso actually needs to also stay out of foul trouble too, because we know when he sticks his hand in the cookie jar too much, he'll be in
Yeah.
four fouls within the third quarter, and they need him to stay at least three or below for
Yeah.
it to consistently to stay in this series. Um, and then Jalen Williams, he also needs to step up to scoring wise as well. I think as a number two option, defensively he's great because he
Yeah.
times his steals so well. You never see him coming. I think offensively, I would like him to score more than either 18 or more points because he is a future all star or superstar, honestly, along with Shea.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Thunder wins this series by just being who they've been all year.
Hmm.
Intense defense. Like they play defense like UNLV and Arkansas in the 90s. Like that's how they play. They legit play collegiate defense because they're
Yeah.
really aggressive. And I think that's kind of a way that basketball has gone is that we had this era where everybody was a great ball handler,
Hmm.
and then now because everybody wants to shoot, the ball handling skills have kind of gone down. So now a team like OKC, who's super aggressive and pressing and getting in your face, if you
Yeah.
can't handle the ball, you're gonna turn cookies. Give me, and it's gonna be 2 points. It's gonna be easy 2 points. So I think we're gonna see the ascension of SGA. I think we're gonna see the ascension of Shea. I think
Mm.
he's got the MVP, but they have not respected his game. They've called him a foul merchant. They've done everything. But this man just keeps dropping 30 on you.
Yeah.
And look, and maybe it's not the 30 that we're maybe he's not dunking on anybody, or maybe he's not shooting some crazy three. Maybe that's why. But this man is getting open, and he's not like flying by people. He's
Right.
getting to the spot. He's doing misdirection with his body. And look, Shea is great, and I think we're going to see his greatness on full display, because honestly, I don't see anybody on Indy's team that's going to be able to deal with him, because Shea got these gorilla arms. He does. Oh, here comes Kev. What's up, fam?
What's up, my brother?
So yeah, we're just talking. We got 5 minutes before tip off, but we're talking like how can the Thunder win this series? I'm just like, I don't see how the Pacers can even remotely slow down Shea.
Remotely slow him down. That's intriguing. I think double team. I think athletes. I look at personnel. So I'm with you on that, but there's no way, you know what this guy's capable of. He gave you a 49-10 game in the last series. So you know what he's capable of. So it can't be we don't know. You had 2 weeks to prepare for this. So we this is where the coaching comes into play.
Just rattling off those numbers like it's normal is absolutely right. Like that is insane. Like we're just like, he's just doing that like, sorry about that. He's just doing like that's like a normal thing. I'm gonna drop 49 and 10. Sure, why not?
Right. Let me ask you this: does Shea get a lot of love from the referees? Because I saw like a montage of his flops, and some are excessive. It's the interesting thing is that the league will put a montage of LeBron out and say he's such this, he's that, but Shea does a lot of flopping, and I think in today's game, selling the foul is a part of the game, but it's a lot.
Like I don't think so. When I think of flopping, like I think of like Luka, right? Like Luka is just like fly, and even sometimes LeBron too. But also Luke, like if someone breathes on Luka, Luka's like,
right.
like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but I don't think Shea flops. I think he definitely creates the contact, and if he creates the contact and you bump him, and he's gonna make an off balance shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more so because he just has such good body control, So it's like, I push back on the whole foul merchant conversation with him.
I get it, brother Josh. How you see it?
I think he gets a lot of love from the refs. He gets a lot of love. No one should be shooting like 16 to 22 free throws a game. That's bonkers.
Okay, so tell me this: does it seem bonkers because we're used to seeing now in today's NBA so many 3-point shooters and not a lot of people actually trying to drive to the hole and getting that? Is because I think that's how I look at it from that context, is that you're not going to see a player like Steph Curry get a lot of free throws because he's not like, he'll drive, but he's not that aggressive type player. He's coming off the screen, shooting you 3 things like that. So to me, that's my context. That's kind of why I don't think he gets that much love.
And I understand that. I feel like I guess indirectly, you look at football, it's said that, on any given play, you can call an offensive hold per se if you want to, right? And I think for basketball, the style of play of the guard will determine if Kyrie Irving gets to the cup a bit more than Steph Curry. How often is he at the free throw line? So it's interesting. I just feel like, sometimes it does feel a little excessive. Does he get to the basket? Well, he does. But when you start looking back at clips, sometimes it's such a phantom foul. But we've seen it previously with James Harden too. Back Houston, James Harden went to the free throw line a lot. So it's interesting.
So that is definitely for sure. Because when you know what, you may have a point. I'm going to blame James Harden because I think I just don't want. I feel that the narrative about Shea has kind of not given him enough credit for the player he is. And I think, and I feel we've done that with too many superstars, and I'm trying to kind of step away from that. Like we did it with Steph. Oh, all he can do is shoot 3. We did it with LeBron. It was like, when are you gonna win it? When are you gonna win 6? Like, we've done it with all these stars. Like it's no matter what these players do, it's never enough. So
yeah, that's fair.
So that's why I'm trying to not like I see the complaints, but I look at the other parts of his game. It's like he's getting his shot whenever he wants, and that's
Yeah.
just so special.
Yeah, they're very special, very special. You know, it's interesting. You know, I think does this series go 7? Does I know the Thunder come in as the favorite, but I have a gut feeling that these Pacers are just they're on a special run. You know, it's been upset city every round. I think they have the versatility to compete. You know, you look at the previous series where Miles Turner got off against Jared Allen, right? But or take that back. I'm sorry, the Knicks series, Mitchell Robinson and Big Cat. But in this series, you know, the opposing center is just a different matchup. I do think Siakam, and then you got Nembar, you got McCullough. I just feel like they have the athletes to keep up, and it shouldn't be one-sided. I'd be disappointed if it was.
All right. So speaking of that, Kev, I'll let you kick us off. So finals, the MVP picks. Tell me who you picking to win, how many games, and who's your MVP and why.
Oh, outstanding! I think it's if it goes the way I envision, I think Tyler Halliburton will be the Finals MVP. I think Pacers it's going to take all 7. It's going to take all 7. It's got to be a dogfight. If it went OKC's way, then it would be Shea because when was I think they said it was in 2010 or so the last time an MVP also went to the finals, and it was Steph Curry. So I think you know as I've learned in my 43 years, the league is about narratives. So I can foresee that kind of being that. So, but if it goes the way I envision, I would say the Pacers. And I think Halliburton, he's been getting a lot of scrutiny about thinking he was going to get the Eastern Conference MVP. I think he'll have his moment.
Okay. All right, Josh, what you thinking?
I'm gonna go. If the Pacers win, I agree it'll be Tyrese Halliburton as the Finals MVP. If it goes the Thunder way, it's gotta go Shea. There's no one else that can get the Eastern Conference Finals or the Finals MVP for them for sure.
Okay.
How you see it?
Who do you have winning the finals?
Winning the finals, I'm going OKC.
Okay. How many games?
Oh, I'm going sweep. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go game. I'm gonna go. I think they'll take it game 6.
Game 6.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go OKC in 6. I think that I think, and here's why it's 6. OKC is gonna trick off a game. They do it every single series.
Yeah.
Every single series. So they're gonna get their doors blown off. It'll probably be game 2 or game 3. It happens every single series. I don't know why they do it, but they just like, all right, whatever. And so that's why I definitely know it's not going to be a sweep. That's just not OKC's thing. So so I think definitely. So I'm gonna say 6, but I think outside of that blowout game that they're going to trick off, I think every game is going to be tight.
What's the matchup of the night?
I think check on either Siakam or Turner. I think that's we talked about that earlier. Like that's the matchup that I'm looking at. Whoever Chet has to guard, because I think Miles Turner and Siakam are similar in kind of what they do, and I think that's if Chet wins those matchups, I think they're gonna have a problem.
And so consider too, the previous matchup, Chet didn't have to deal with Gobert stretching out, and shooting that jump shot, but Miles Turner's going to take him out of the paint. And that makes a difference. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was kind of getting on Jared Allen, and I'm saying, hey, it's not like when you saw clips, Miles Turner was bullying him in the post because he wasn't. No. But when he had to get him on that perimeter, it changes everything. And then I'm also intrigued to see can Caruso's on-ball defense disrupt Halliburton? Because Halliburton is quick. He did a good job staying in front of the previous matchup. So I'm just really intrigued to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Like I was telling Josh, like I don't understand how Miles Turner continually gets open for 3-pointers. Like he's just like and the thing is, I feel like I'm sure he is, but it doesn't appear that he's running. Like he's just like kind of like just casually walking out the 3-point line, and that's. But yeah, Miles Turner was my he was my player to watch. We got like another minute before tip off. So, Kev, if you weren't here for that, who's your player to watch this series?
Ooh, good question. I think From the Thunder, it's got to be Shea. Shea's having a magical run, and he has to be that guy. And then Pacers, same thing, point guard on point guard. I think Halliburton has to be the guy. But I'm so enamored with his ability to, I would say penetrate and just kind of dish and kick. Go back to that Knicks series, right? Oh no, sorry, that Milwaukee series. He had Greek at the top of the key, got a step on him and made a layup for the game-winning play. That's just so hard to do, and I just think he's gonna be a force. So, but if they can't minimize his penetration at times, the Pacers really have a good shot. And it goes back to your point: how does Miles get open so often? It's all of the penetration from the point guard. So, that would be my pick.
All right, cool. All right, well, they're about to do tip off right now.
Right.
So, fellas, this was another great podcast.
Always.
We definitely got to do this 3-man weave again. So,
yes, sir.
All right, so take it easy.
You too.
After Trial Call, Swish, Kev, Josh. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.